Hey guys, Mr. T here, just doing a video on paying more frequently, strategy for your home loans. Apologies in advance for the voice, I'm feeling quite sick right now, so just recording this ahead of time just in case I need the video for later, and it won't be done live. So, in the class, sorry. Now, a strategy you can adopt to save on interest that you can choose to do is to pay more regularly, more often than monthly. There's going to be two ways that we deal with that in this example, and you really should show both in your DI. You're showing the first one to show the mathematics of paying more often, but in reality, only the second version of this strategy that we do is actually offered by banks. So, the mathematical method of paying more frequently. Okay. While monthly repayments are the default, you can choose to make repayments more frequently with your bank, however often you want. Interest is still compounded monthly, but your payments are paid either fortnightly or weekly, and making the minimum repayment required for that makes a very minor interest saving, and that's probably why they don't offer it. It's just mathematically it will make a difference, but not very much. So mathematically, the more frequent minimum repayments involve doing this, change your PY, which is the payments per year, to fortnightly, 26, or weekly, 52. Keep your CY at 12, because they're still going to compound it monthly. Modify N to depend on the new PY, as PY and CY are now different, and when they are different, the value of N depends on what PY is. Then you solve for PMT, giving the minimum fortnightly or weekly repayments. So you're paying off the loan in the normal time period, but you're just paying more often. So if we had a look, consider the default home loan 2024, how much interest would be saved if you made the minimum weekly repayments. So Apps Finance, the default loan was 5%, 500 grand. I don't want to owe the bank anything at the end. So if I was making the minimum weekly payments, there's 52 weeks in the year. Be careful, the calculator wants PY and CY to remain the same, but this is a situation where they won't be. 52 payments in a year. Now I adjust N to reflect the fact that it's 52 payments in a year. So 52 times by the 30 years. So 1560, everything's set up. So alpha, enter. So put the working out here. 1560 I 5% PV is equal to 500,000. We solved for PMT. That was -6, $18.42 to 2 decimal points. PMNT, what the heck? Owe the bank nothing by the end. Why did it go black? FV is nothing, PY equals 52, CY equals 12. So now we can work out the interest. Interest on the loan is equal to the payment, $618.42, times by the 1560 payments made, minus the debt paid off, which was 500,000. Take nothing because I got the debt down to 0. Second quit. 618.42 times 1560, take away 500,000. That tells me I'm going to pay $464,735.20. Now if I compare that to the default loan, which was, so let's work out the interest saved like you would do in your DI. Interest saved compared to default is equal to the original, the OG 466,279 interest, minus $464,735.20. 466,279 take away 464,735.20. $1543 $2.80 in interest saved. So you can see not an effective method, but mathematically it does make a saving just because you are paying slightly more often. Okay? Now, that is the first strategy, which I've said you need to show both. But the second one is really the one that's offered by banks, and I'm personally doing this myself to pay off my home loan, which is paying half the monthly repayment fortnightly. So the above calculations that we just showed, they show that choosing to pay more frequently, but only the minimum repayment needed to do that, leads to a very minor interest saving. Only $1,500 over the course of 30 years is not really worth it, right? So this shows that technically, the more frequently you pay, the more you save, but it's barely worth it paying the minimum required. In reality, if you ask the bank to pay more frequently, the option given is this in red, which is to pay half the monthly repayment, but pay it fortnightly. So what does that mean? To do this strategy of paying half the monthly repayment fortnightly was literally what it says. You halve the normal monthly repayment, you make that the new PMT, you adjust PY to fortnightly, which is 26. You keep CY at 12 because the bank will still compound interest monthly. Now you solve for N, giving a shorter loan term than normal. Why does it give a shorter loan term than normal? I thought all we were doing is halving the monthly repayment and paying it fortnightly. And isn't a fortnight half of a month? Well, no, not really, because what you'll see is this strategy saves quite a lot of interest because it's not actually just paying more often. So it's not just paying fortnightly instead of monthly. Months, except February, obviously, are all more than 4 weeks. So half of a month is actually longer than a fortnight. So the halved monthly payment is more than you would pay in a fortnight, meaning the strategy is choosing to pay more than you need to and paying more often. So really it's a combination of two strategies at the same time. But we show this in your DI and possibly in tests, because it's the real thing that is offered if you ask to pay more often. So let's consider the default home loan. How much interest would be saved if you chose to pay half the monthly repayment fortnightly? So N, I, P, V, PMT, FV, PY, and CY will be separate because they're different. Halve the monthly repayment and make it the new PMT. The monthly repayment before was the default was $2,684.11, $2,684.11, divide that by 2. So your new PMT of paying half the monthly repayment fortnightly is going to be negative 13, because it's coming out of your pocket, 42.06, 2 decimal points. I don't want to owe the bank anything after. The interest rate is still 5. You borrowed 500,000. PUI, you're paying fortnightly, so it's 26 fortnights in a year. I don't get to tell the bank how often it compounds, so it's monthly. So I'm actually solving for N because a fortnight is not exactly half of a month. So this is actually more than it needs to be, which means that your loan gets paid off quicker than it should, meaning that you solve for N. So negative 1342.06, 26. Be careful, it tries to change it, so leave it at 12. Alpha solve. So that tells me 655.31 fortnights to 2 decimal points. Interest on the loan of paying half the monthly repayment fortnightly is 1342.06 times by 655.31. Take away the debt paid off, which was 500 grand. Take away nothing. Quit out of this. 1342.06 times by 655.31. Take away 500,000. So that comes to 379,465.34, 2 decimal points. So the interest saved compared to the default is going to be the default home loan that we came from the bank was 466,279, and because I'm choosing to pay half the monthly repayment fortnightly, it's going to cost 379,465.34, 379,465.3 in interest. So 466,279 take 379,465.34. It's going to save you $86,813.66 in interest saved by doing that, which is quite a lot compared to just the mathematical way of choosing to pay more often. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. See you in the next video.